It all started back in about 74, 75 when I met Kenny back in grade school, and decided to, it was actually an audition where I met him. We were auditioning for singers.
That quickly evolved into me playing bass because, as everybody knows, I can't sing. So it was kind of fun. We kind of got that going and
put together a little band called High Voltage, and we ended up playing. Our first show was the school carnival.
We really had a good time with that. Did really good for a bunch of grade school kids. Ended up having 3 or 4 sets with the cover materials, and we did that through high school.
We kept playing music till we were about 14, and we just stayed really good friends and kept making music together. And I kind of got out of the music around 14 or 15, and
I kept going. I got into doing original material with my brother-in-law Jeff, and we just started playing and writing material, and really had a good time doing that. That was, to me, really rewarding and really interesting, is doing our own original material.
I didn't really get back into it till about 15 years later, and I started to listen to the new post-80s, post-hair band type of rock and roll, like around the time Nirvana came out, early 90s.
It was funny because just as I was starting to burn out on doing the band thing, he kind of started getting interested in it again, and started calling me about, hey, I'm doing this and I'm recording that. And
we started a band called American Ground Zero, and it was kind of a heavy metal band, but kind of had like an 80s feel to it, and we wanted to bring in a lot of the vocal harmonies, that were in some of the 80s music that were kind of lacking in the Seattle sound, where it was kind of more of a dark sound. We wanted to kind of bring in the harmony, the vocal harmony sound, along with more of a almost heavy metal, hard rock type of thing. And so we did that for a while, and then that's how Kenny kind of got brought back into the picture.
And then slowly we kind of like started getting it back together. He had this band and they needed a bass player, and so I kind of went over there and filled in playing bass a little bit, and that worked out for a while, but it really wasn't the kind of music that we were both interested in doing. So that slowly evolved into the next project, which was The Next.
Yeah, and then when we put The Next together, totally new sound, a new band that didn't sound metal or 80s or any kind of dated sound. We wanted it to be something fresh, and that's probably what most bands want to do. But we wanted something with the harmonies, something that had a little bit of the classic rock to it. We didn't want any. The thing that was going on around the time that we started The Next was a lot of the hard metal stuff with a lot of screaming and stuff, and we wanted to keep it where it was vocal oriented, where we could do a lot of vocal stuff.
That was a much more rewarding thing because we started doing things that we wanted to do as far as music goes, and started crafting the songs the way we heard them in our heads, and not necessarily playing things that we thought people wanted to hear. We weren't playing things that were popular as far as the style of music goes. We were playing something that we wanted to hear, and we had some influences outside, musical sources, but they were so eclectic that it was just, kind of a hodgepodge of material. So, that's kind of how we got it going.
So we got The Next together, and we ended up playing in a battle of the bands when there was about 120 other bands that were in that thing, and we didn't think we were going to do very good, and we ended up placing third in that thing.
That was kind of neat, So that kind of gave us a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a shot in the arm, and we kind of started going down the road from that point. We played a few smaller gigs, just to kind of, get our get our feet wet in some of the live things, because it's so much different playing live than it is playing in a room with just the band members.
So we thought, you know, we actually sound pretty good, and we'd only written 3 songs at that time, and so it was something that was coming together good, and we decided, you know, let's just keep going with this thing, you know.
Got our experience on stage a little bit, and then we started moving up to some of the bigger clubs, and just kind of kept it going from there.
We kept writing more songs and doing the things that we wanted to do, you know, incorporating the vocal harmonies along with the kind of moderate rock, more on the classic rock side, trying to develop our own sound.
You know, I think a lot of artists get asked, how do you write a song? How do you guys make the music? How do you create? And I'm sure it's different for everybody. And you know what? It's almost different for every single time you make a song. It's never exactly the same process. So for us, you know, usually Darin will come up with
a song idea, be like something that I come up with, and well, kind of lay down a couple tracks of how the bass of the song is going to go, and then I'll bring it to the guys, and you know, Kenny will take a look at it and take a listen, and we'll ponder on it for a little while, and then
it kind of grows from there, which is always interesting because it never goes the direction that you're totally expecting it. So that's always an exciting time. It's always a real invigorating part of the process, and I'll contribute a little part here, or Jeff will contribute a little part there. Dave will modify something, and it just kind of takes on its own life from that point.
It's mostly a collaboration of the 4 of us. I mean, the whole sound, the sound of the next comes from just the 4 of us, our backgrounds, our musical backgrounds, and the way we work together in the rehearsal room.
If we can connect with a crowd, and if we can give them energy and then get that energy back from them, that is just something that you can't explain, and it is something that just feels fantastic. And just never really connected with an audience until I started playing with this band, and that was pretty powerful.
And it's fun, you know. If it's not fun, it'll reflect in the sound. So we have a lot of fun in that room, and the music comes out, and that's how it comes out.
Dust beneath. In my dreams, the world stands still, long enough to see me falling. In my dreams, the world stands still. Changing with time, we're changing like the seasons, and the reasons why you're leaving have become clear.